What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got another video for you guys today. It's rank 5 Elsa Bloodstone gameplay with full suicide, so keep that in mind when you look at the damage, that it is going to be with full suicide, so the damage will be quite ramped up. I still think, even though this, in spite of the recoil, I still do think Elsa Bloodstone is really awesome with full suicides. It's kind of like one of those champions that she just gained so much with full suicides that it's probably better to like eat the recoil damage and worry about the health loss later. Kind of like Corvus, you use an L2, you take 5% recoil, but in return you gain a huge damage boost. These first few clips, what I'm trying to showcase is champions that kind of gimp Elsa Bloodstone's mechanic of being able to counter evade. So if you don't already know, Elsa Bloodstone's on well-timed blocks can counter evade. So she'll evade, hit the opponent back, and then you actually have the opportunity to go in for a full 5-hit combo, kind of like Mordo. Actually, exactly like Mordo. Except Mordo's is only when he's stunned. This is whenever you perform a well-timed block. And I think this mechanic is actually pretty strong. But yeah, these few champions do counter it. So some of them either counter the evade, or some of them reduce defensive ability accuracy. Those kinds of champions, you will not be able to take full use of that mechanic. And I really do think that mechanic is pretty strong. Because, for example, maybe in a fight it's stun immune and the opponent has some kind of crit through block or block penetration, which has been you know, kind of rolling out a little bit more and more here and there. Another one is Iron Man Infinity War. I completely forgot, this is an aspect of war fight, and I wanted to use Elsa because her damage is actually pretty freaking decent. But I completely forgot that on his first medium, it's a repulsor, and repulsors actually prevent evade. So you'll see I go for a parry, thinking I'm going to get the evade, and yeah, you see evade failed. So yeah, I completely forgot about that, and so I actually had to intercept for some of these hits, and yeah. The match ended up lasting a really long time because of the spite. I still do think this fight is kind of long, or a little bit overtuned, but I don't know, guys. It's just like this fight, basically you're going either with an Omega Red or try to go in with Ghost, or I don't think I've seen She-Hulk. I've seen Quake do this as well, but yeah, the average champion will probably end up taking a very long time with that. But onto the like actual fights, guys. Some good matchups, or matchups where Elsa Bloodstone's counter evade will actually matter or will help you out, was like for that first fight where Ebony Maw, his first medium is a projectile, so you actually can't parry him on the first hit. I mean, you can do the reparry, but you got the counter evade where you evade back and you can counter with a 5-hit combo. Like, this is a stun immune Ant-Man, and yeah, as you can see, you just go for a parry and you won't parry, but you'll counter evade and have the ability to land a 5-hit combo. Next up, I didn't know that Elsa Bloodstone actually has a passive heal block at the start of the fight if you're bleeding. So if you're running full suicides, you actually do have a passive heal block. I don't know where this would come in handy, but yeah, he's down to 31% health, and I counted it up, so he had 32,000 something health, and in the end we ended up doing shoot, I forgot the number. I think it was about 22,000 health off of him. 22,450 health, around there. So yeah, a lot of damage from just the degen and the heal block. And then we also went into Realm of Legends Winter Soldier and Realm of Legends Rhino for the class advantage and no class advantage matchups to see how much her degen damage does. This is also a test to see if her degen scales to attack. Because like for example, Omega Red, his degen does not scale whatsoever. It's a really strong degen, but yeah, if your damage getting gimped by like if you boost or anything, his degen damage it just doesn't change. And as you can see there, we did it's like a good chunk of health for not doing anything, at least in my opinion. It's actually really strong. So 14,888 no class, 18,505 with classes advantage. If you do the numbers, you get 124% damage increase. So I do believe it is really strong. And then we're gonna showcase just like Elsa Bloodstone does do like a lot of damage. And as you can see in the first fight, I believe the degen damage was like 400. Was it 488 or 490? I forget. And then in the second fight with Rhino, it was close to 600. But one of the things I noticed that is really important for Elsa Bloodstone's damage is that though that debuff that in blue that you end up putting onto the opponent, getting crits off is really, really important. So every time I crit, you'll see the red number, and yeah, it actually does a lot of damage if you have several of them on him. So that's gonna really, really decrease how many hits we have to end up putting onto the opponent. The other thing is that when you have a one of the bullets on cooldown, it actually increases your power gain rate. So right now with 1 on cooldown, we have an added 44%, I mean not 44, 40% power rate. And now we're not to regular, and now we're back to 40% increased power rate. So I do think this is pretty strong. It does help Elsa Bloodstone get back to an L2 pretty fast as well. But as you can see, guys, we're 85 hits in. Keep in mind that Elsa Bloodstone's SP2 does 6 hits. So in those 6 hits, I believe 5 of them release rounds. So if the SP2, I know that the SP2 uses 5 of the blue ones. And then if you're out of them, it'll end up using the Hellfire rounds. But you do want to have Elsa Bloodstone fire off the blue ones during the SP2 just to stack them, because every time you crit again, you will just do significantly more damage. So in some of those hits, I would hit for like 4,000, and then the debuff would also give me an extra burst of like 4,000 damage. So add them together, you get like 8,000 for that medium. And yeah, we finished that fight in I believe I saw 124 hits. We're gonna heal up because it is item use, so I was like, oh cool, like perfect. Some of these were expiring, and so we're gonna get to use them. But yeah, keep in mind this is not any class advantage fight. The only thing we do have here is we do have the mutant crit team, just because critical hits are going to help us a lot actually. So every time we crit, we're just going to be able to do that burst damage. As you can see, we're actually doing like around, I believe I see 2,700. So it is pretty strong, guys. And then we're going to have both of our things on cooldown for this SP2, which kind of sucks because if I managed it a little bit better, would probably help me out with damage a little bit more. But as you can see, we got to an L2 so fast. We're gonna get rid of we're gonna put one of the blue ones just so we can have some, and then we're gonna get rid of our Hellfire. Okay, there. Now we finally got rid of a Hellfire. But yeah, we just didn't really play this match all that great. But in the end, we ended up finishing this fight in just over 100 hits. And yeah, guys, I think we've been probably sleeping on Elsa for since she got released. I don't see anybody like uploading Elsa Bloodstone gameplay. I might start bringing her into Alliance War, see how she does on Aspect of War against matchups that do favor her. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.